Okay. All right, so hopefully by now, most of you have downloaded the files that I asked you to download. What I want you guys to do is open ArcMap, and I'm gonna find the files that I downloaded real quick for this tutorial. Let's see, packages, week 3, okay. So the first thing I'm gonna show you guys how to do is how to map basically flight data. And what in this zip file, there are two data sources that I want you to look at. There's airports.dat and then there's routes.dat. These are basically data sets, and I'll show you where I got this from. Basically, there's a site called openflights.org right here. And this site here, for free, gives you basically all the airport information you need, all the flight information you need, and more importantly, all the route information. This little thing here is what we're going to visualize in ArcMap. And the reason I'm showing this website is because this information is probably always updating, so what I'm showing the information today might not be relevant in a year, for instance. Okay, so the first thing I want you guys to do is in ArcMap, I want you to open up, if you can't see, World 4. This will be our base. And again, I know tutorials are hard to follow sometimes, so if you just want to watch and then follow along slowly later by watching the video, you can totally do that. So right now we have a continent of the world and also a UTM zone. This is going to be our base. The important thing I want you guys to know for now is that the coordinate system of this map is actually kind of the default coordinate system. It's WGS 1984, and this is actually going to be very important when we start to map the airport data. So what I want you guys to do now is open Excel on your computers, and we're going to open up one of these files. So go to File, Open, and navigate to the project folder. Ask you guys to download packages, week 3. And just go all files. And we want to start with the airports file right here. So open that. Just click yes. Just click OK. Okay, so you see this stuff here. What we want to do is we want to click on delimited. Characters such as commas or tabs separate each field. Click next. And then you want to select, I believe it's comma. No, maybe it's tab. Okay. If you do this, you see the information automatically splits into ID, airport name, city, country, all these tech categories here. So this is basically our data set here. So go next. Leave this everything as is, so everything as a general field, and click finish. What we basically have here is a data set, Excel file of every single airport and actually every single major transit station in the world. So that actually includes train stations. The key thing we have here is this latitude and longitude data set here, and we can use this to actually map out the airports in the city. So this looks good to me right now. We're not going to do anything else to it other than just save as, and just save it as an Excel file. I'll call this airports. Save. Okay. Now go back to ArcMap, and I showed you guys this last week. You can actually add data using this add XY data here, and then you can add the. Let's go to my folder real quick. Packages. Add this airport data set, and then there's only one table there, so just click that. And you see it automatically adds longitude and latitude in the X and Y fields here. And click OK. And just click OK here. And so this automatically adds all the airports in the world on your map here. Now, I want to show you one quick thing before I do anything else. I'm going to remove this. if the coordinate system is not this coordinate system here, it says any random other one, let's say this one for instance, it shouldn't work because all the numbers here are keyed into that original coordinate system. So this is something I just figured out through trial and error doing this, is that you would have to always have the correct coordinate system when you do these things. You wouldn't know that if you didn't understand the concept of coordinate systems, and I had to go through several options for this to work. But for instance, if we just add in the X and Y data from what we did previously, airports, add to launch, click OK. Well, this one worked too. I guess this coordinate system was the same. I did a different coordinate system previously, and it didn't quite work. As long as you have this basic rectangular coordinate system here, it should work. But I guess this random one I selected actually also worked as well. In any case, now you have all the airports mapped onto your map here, and then you can label them so they can see basically every single airport on the site. Okay, so this is good. Let's turn those off temporarily for now. Now we want to take a look at the second Excel file that we have. So why don't you guys open the routes.dat and do the same process that you did previously with this text import wizard. So make sure you select delimited, next. In this case, select comma as your field separator. You see that it begins to separate each of these fields. This is what the text file that comes in looks like. If you use the comma as the delimiter, it splits each one into its own row. Click next, and click finish. So what does this information here mean? There's actually no row at the top explaining these. And the only way to find out this is actually to go to the website here. And this here actually tells you exactly what each row means. So this is what that data set is referring to, these rows here. Airline, airline ID, source airport ID, yada, yada, yada. So what I'm going to do, just quickly, is I'm going to add a row at the top, and I'm going to label each of these rows according to this file right here. So first line is airline, a 2-letter ID, so I'll just quickly label these guys here. Airline. Next one is ID, so I'll just call this air ID. Let's go down this list. Source airport. Source air. And this next one I believe is source airport ID. So let's do source air ID. Next one I believe is the destination airport. So I'll do dest air, and I just know this because I did this last time. This is actually dest airport ID, so I'll just call this dest air ID. The last three I actually don't think are important for this tutorial. It's code share, stops equipment. They're not important. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete them because I'm pretty sure they're not important. I'm just going to delete these fields here. Then I'll just organize these so that I can see every single label. And then just save as routes. Save it as an Excel file. Okay. Okay, so basically what we have here is the information we want to map. Routes basically means every single route ever in the world. And if you go down this list here, you see there's actually 67,600 something routes. And this is why when we try to visualize this information in ArcMap, it tends to crash because there's way too much information to handle for this data set. And so what I suggest doing when we do this is to actually break it up into several airports. And it depends on how you want to do it. For instance, maybe we want to only find the airports that are leaving St. Louis as a source. So what we need to do is we need to find out what St. Louis is. So I'll just do a quick find here. I'm pretty sure St. Louis is Lambert, so let's see if we can find that in here, Lambert. Find next. Let's try St. Louis. Let's try Lewis. I don't know if it's case sensitive. Let's see. Lambert. Lewis. Okay. So I'll sort it by city. I'll just sort this list down here. So sort. Click this list here. Sort A to Z. Expand the selection whenever you're doing this kind of thing so that it expands across every single data set. Let's find St. Louis real quick. Maybe it's just the code is different. Okay. Oh, I see. It's actually S-A-N-T. Okay, so St. Okay, here we go, Lambert. So the code we want is STL. This is our airport code. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the routes map here. I believe these are already sourced, organized. Actually, they're not. Let's just organize these. So sort A to Z, expand. Okay, so we only want STL, so let's find STL. So now we found all the STLs. Let's just select the first row. Let's go down until we get the last one. Shift, hold. Okay. So now we have all the airports that are leaving St. Louis. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this information. I'm gonna make a new, actually I'll make a completely new Excel file. So I'll do new, blank workbook, and I'll paste this in here. And you see that we only have 114 entries, which is a lot better than having 6 billion, whatever was there previously. Then what we need to do is basically we need to add the columns that we had previously. So I'm just going to go to routes again. Let's go to the top and copy this line. Copy. Insert that there. Okay, so now we have, save this, save as Excel. I'll call this routes STL. So now we have basically every single route coming from St. Louis. Now what we need to do is we need to add the location data for each of these airports, the source air and also the destination air. And how we're going to do that? We basically need to join this, sorry, that's an email about the competition I'm working on that I'm going to ignore for now. We need to join this information here to this data set, this routes data set here. And we need to do it 2 times, once for source air and once for destination air. So how do we do that? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to airports. I'm going to clean up this information because we need to join this list to this list here. And we really only need a few things. In airports, we only really need, for instance, the ID and the latitude and longitude. Because then the latitude and longitude is going to tell us the basic location of this. So we don't really need all this information. So I'm going to clean up this information first. I'm going to do save as airports S for short. Doesn't really matter what you call it. I'm going to start deleting some information just to clean it up a bit. So I'll delete airport name. I'll keep city. I'll just delete all these guys. I don't think we need them. All I want is this here and the ID, because this ID here is going to key in and also to join it to these IDs here. So back in airport S, just take these 2 here and I'll cut them and I'll paste them here. So this nice clean document. Save that. Okay. Go back to ArcMap. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a table into this file. And we can just do that by going to the plus icon here, and then we're going to add the routes STL. This again was the data set that we want to join information to. So you see, this is the exact same table that we had made earlier, all cleaned up. And we're going to join the information for both source ID and then destination ID. So actually what we have is essentially one table with a source ID coordinates X and Y, then a destination ID X and Y. We can use this information to basically map lines across the United States. One more thing before doing anything else. What I'm going to do is actually I'm going to make another copy of this, airport S. So airports S, we'll say S actually stands for source. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to do ID underscore S, just so I keep my names a little bit clean. We'll do latitude underscore S, then longitude underscore S. I'm going to save this down to a save as airports D for destination. Then we'll just change these labels to ID D, latitude D, longitude D, and save that. So then what we have essentially is an airports D destination and airports S for source. And we're going to join these two tables to this table here. So right click, join to relates, join. And then we choose the field this layer will be based on, it will be the source ID. We want to first find the locations of all the source airports. And I think what you'll find is that all the airports will be the same because it's all sourced from the same location, St. Louis, which is fine. So then do airports S for source, and just the first line here. And then the field will be based on IDS. Keep all records, click OK. And then when you see when you open this table here is that you have, oops, sorry, it's a tiny, tiny table. God, diagonal. Where'd it go? Okay, if that stuff goes away, you need to just open the table of contents again. Where'd it go? God. Oh, God. I'm supposed to find this information. Hang on. Okay, so here we are, and hopefully I don't lose my position again. Oh, God. This, my old enemy. Where did it, oh God, where'd it go again? Oh wait, it's here, table of contents. Oh, okay, here, let me do this, sorry. All right, okay. Now you see airport S has latitude S, longitude S. That's the only thing I want to say. And the thing is, you see they're all the same. That's because they're all from St. Louis, okay? So I took 10 minutes to explain that one point. Now let's do the same exact thing for the second data set. So join based off now the destination air ID, and we're going to select the and now we're going to select the airports D for destination. The only reason I made two data sets is so that it has two separate columns, and then we'll keep all these and so click OK. And now I'm going to open this table. You'll see there is now a dest ID, dest air ID, sorry, latitude S, longitude S, and then there should be a latitude D, longitude D. So now these are all different because they're all keying into different airports around the world or in the United States. Okay, now we have that information. We are ready to start making cool things happen. So let's go in here. And the tool we want to use is in ArcToolbox. So open your ArcToolbox. And I can't remember where it's located, so I'm just going to search for XY. Let's see. XY to line. It's in data management. So in here, data management, where did I find it again? Features, XY to line. Double click that. And this will basically be the thing that's going to map out these routes. So the table is going to be this table right here. So make sure you select sheet 1. Output feature class, leave this as is. Usually with these files, they need to be saved within a geodatabase, which is this GDB. And this, I'll talk about the layer, but basically sometimes if you change this line here, it doesn't quite work. We can always re-export the line work that we make later and save it anywhere that you need to save. Okay, start X and start Y. Now this part is a little confusing. It took me a while to figure out what's going on here. S is source. You'd think X means latitude, but it actually means longitude. And if you just look at the read the field or start X field, the X coordinates or longitudes. And so what we need to do is actually put longitude S here, and then latitude S here. And then for the end fields, longitude D, and then latitude D. And then the line type. This is just what kind of line you want to make. A straight line or a curved line. I think the curved line looks the coolest, and that's the great circle. But you can play around with any of these options here. So I'm going to choose great circle, and that's it. So then click OK. And there you go. So now you've made essentially what is a map of all the air routes from St. Louis to all its destination airports. And you see it mostly serves the United States, but with a few countries in the Caribbean. And that's it. That's pretty cool, right? Now you can imagine the reason I only did St. Louis is because I wanted to keep the data like simple and short. But you can obviously map every single airport in the United States. You can go worldwide, and you can map airports out here. What I have here is JFK. I believe that's right. I have JFK. Oh, actually, the tables are not saved here. Well, I did a test with JFK previously. I don't know if I still have that information here, but that was pretty cool because that mapped information all across the world because JFK is an international airport. So that's basically how you map air routes using this table information. So